When the blue light ping, you better come quick. I'll work on that.
Welcome to SeaTac.
Today's super interesting and we're doing some investigative journalism for you because Hawaiian has been acquired by Alaska and the first route they've launched is Seoul.
This is going to be an Alaska flight, but on Hawaiian's metal, a 787-9 Dreamliner in 2 cabins. Nicky, what are you going to be in?
I'm going to be flying in economy on this long overnight flight, almost 12 hours from here in Seattle to Seoul.
I know you lot are going to be happy to hear this. I'm going to be in business class today.
This route marks Hawaiian's leap beyond its island-only identity and gives Alaska the long-haul, wide-body power it's never had, right in the fastest-growing gateway to Asia. Together, the merger can become a genuine disruptor to the big 3 US airlines, challenging Delta on its home turf for trans-Pacific routes, and emerge as the West Coast's newest long-haul contender. But with 2 very different airlines merging, everyone's asking, can they pull it off?
Alaska will start next year flying to places like London. These Dreamliners will be painted in Alaska livery, but for now it's going to be a Hawaiian plane, Hawaiian crew, Hawaiian food.
Well, I think that's enough talking. Should we go and do it?
Let's do it.
Well, that was a super easy check-in process. Had the priority line behind me, but to be honest, the economy line doesn't look that long either. Got my ticket, been told there is an Alaska lounge waiting for me on the other side of TSA, and luckily I've got pre-check, so I'm hoping that's going to be pretty speedy as well.
Now I'm heading down to the check-in desk. You can't check in with Alaska, you check in with Hawaiian. There's only a little desk down here because there's not many Hawaiian flights from Seattle, and especially not international flights. There's only Seoul operating at the moment. Not gonna lie, I absolutely love these self-service check-in things. Makes me feel like a little check-in agent, getting to do my own little bags, the little peel, the little stick, feels so professional. Did I have a calling in a past life as a check-in agent? Yeah, probably.
Well, as expected, TSA pre-check was super speedy. We've now got to get a quick shuttle to the end gates where we're gonna board from, and my lounge is also there. And I'm now bumped in to this one, who is following me around one of those economy rates.
Lounge, I'm just trying to... All I've got is a tiny apple. Always nice, butcher.
Apple a day keeps the doctor away. Welcome to the Alaska Lounge, located by the end gates here in the Seattle-Tacoma airport. Tell you what, I haven't been in an Alaska Lounge before, and on first impressions, I am pretty damn impressed. This entire space almost feels like a wooden lodge kind of area. It also has a lovely cozy feel to it. There's a fireplace. There's all these lovely sort of like wooden panels and touchings and furnishings located all over the lounge. It's got a very calming vibe, despite the fact it is quite big. There is also a huge food station complete with make your own bao buns, which I've got myself here. There's also a number of cold cut salads. There's a dedicated pastry bar that has cookies, cakes, you name it, anything you want. And then finally, there is a lovely, expansive 360 bar that serves cocktails, specialty drinks, mocktails, everything you could possibly need before a flight. And I think this is exactly the sort of lounge space you consider arriving at the airport early, just to make sure you don't miss out on anything. And the final thing to call out about this lounge is you've got the most stunning, almost wraparound floor-to-ceiling windows that give you an incredible vantage point at the entire airport. So if you're into your plane spotting, like I know Nicky Kelvin is, this might be one of the best lounges for that I've seen.
Maybe I'm a bit of a lounge rat. Actually, being sat at the gate, seeing this beautiful Dreamliner pull in, watching the Alaska planes go by, because Seattle is such a big Alaska hub. I'm in Avgeek heaven. Nice big windows in an airport is all I need to have some fun. So economy for me when I'm in a place like this, it's fine.
Before I board, I'm putting on my Bombas compression socks. I brought a bunch of different colours with me, but they've got even more to choose from online. And they're comfortable and supportive without feeling tight. And the seams don't dig into your toes because there aren't any. They're seamless. Plus, they stay up the whole time, so you're not pulling at them mid-flight. And I came extra prepared in case it's a cold flight. I'll have my merino wool blend compression socks to switch into, and these are seriously so soft. But one of the best parts is that with every Bombas purchase, one is donated to someone experiencing housing insecurity. Over 150 million essential clothing items have been donated so far with purchases like these. Use code FREQUENTFLYER to get 21% off your next Bombas purchase. Well, here we go, a seamless ground experience, but I think the real fun is about to begin as we step on board this 787-9 Dreamliner. Oh, here we go. Hi there, how you doing? Thank you. Oh, okay. I think I like what I see. Oh, well, you've got to love an airline that has a vibe the second you step on board. And with this overhead starry lighting, the Hawaiian music playing, this is the perfect start to my flight. Welcome to my business class seat 2A here on Hawaiian Airlines 787-9 Dreamliner. And tell you what, judging by this Mai Tai cocktail that's brought out right after boarding, this has been a perfect start to the experience. But let me give you a quick tour. So this cabin is set out in a 1-2-1 configuration, meaning every seat has direct aisle access and a lot of privacy. As you can see, I am in a window seat today, and immediately after sitting down, this feels like a really comfortable enclosed space. The seat itself is nice and comfy. I have a headrest behind me, which I can move up and down like this and fold it in at either side to offer a little bit extra support. It's not, the thickest seat I've ever felt, but it still feels nice and wide and nice and comfortable. Over on my left, firstly, we have this little phone holder here, which actually doubles as a wireless charger. So you can just pop your phone in there during the flight and charge it up. Above that, you have a little reading light, which you can flick on and off by pushing it in and out. Then if I open up this little cupboard, closed in here, we have my very nicely presented Hawaiian IFE headphones. Finally, a bit further on to the left, we have a cozy little reading light, which I can dim. Below that, we have a couple of charging sockets, including a main plug socket. And then if we click out this little remote, that can control my huge IFE screen, which is going to score at least a 1, 2, 3, with plenty of room below on the Liam Spencer hand scale. So let's call that a 3.5 on the whole. Right below that, we have my tray table, which clicks out like this. You've just got this really nice sort of grippy surface. You can have it out towards you like this, or if you want to make it more appropriate for using a laptop or eating, it slides around like this. And again, everything just feels like it's built so well here. Everything clicks into place in such a satisfying way. And then moving further down, we have my leg room, which feels really extensive. Maybe it's a little bit narrower towards the end there, but I'll have to test it out properly when I'm sleeping. I always love being handed a menu after boarding, and it looks like there are some great options on board today. You can choose between a Korean menu, a Hawaiian fusion menu, or a vegetarian menu. But since we're with Hawaiian Airlines, I feel like the Hawaiian fusion has got to be the choice for me. Cheers.
My first impressions of this cabin is it is stunning. This plane is almost brand new, only about 3 months old, and it really shows. It feels fresh, gorgeous. The seats are in this tealy green tone, and it just feels lovely. The cabin's arranged in a 3-3-3 configuration, and the front half of the front cabin is extra comfort seats. That's where I am now. In these seats, you're going to find 2, 3, 4 inches extra leg room, and I tried out the seats behind, and even if you're not tall, you're going to want this extra space, and I had to pay $170 for this extra space, but it's definitely worth it. The IFE screen is a 2 on the Liam Spencer hand scale. It's crystal clear, it's very big, it's got USB-A and USB-C chargers, and the headphone port is also on the screen. The tray table comes out from in front of you and it's just one solid block. Overall, I'm really impressed with this cabin, and I think it's going to be really comfortable, even though this flight is almost 12 hours.
Let me talk you through my amenity kit today. It's actually presented in this really lovely magnetic bag, which opens up like this. There's also a little strap on the side. First things first, we have some hydrating mist. Last time I used this, I just squirted myself in the eye, so let's avoid that today. We have some hand and body balm, a lip balm, Hawaiian eye mask, a little pack of tissues, toothbrush inside there, a Hawaiian pen, and finally, your classic earbuds. It's on the whole a nicely presented, very useful amenity kit, and my favourite thing of all is this bag. I'm definitely going to be keeping that.
I've got a lovely pillow and a blanket at the top end of what you'll find in economy cabins these days.
Fancy food has started to arrive now, and first things first, let's just double check that we have, oh yeah, we can hear it already, some nice metal cutlery. My starter, we have this roasted vegetable with sweet potato situation, along with this mango shrimp on the side. Feels really healthy, really fresh, really good. The mango complements the shrimp perfectly. Sorry, I've just noticed the salt and pepper is actually in the shape of a Hawaiian shirt. Love little details like that. Now we're moving on to the main event, and just look at this. This is the braised short rib, complete with some sweet potatoes and roasted vegetables. And on the whole, that's a pretty solid effort. It's definitely juicy. Could maybe be a little bit more tender, but on the whole, for a big bit of beef like that on a plate, it's very, very decent. It does sort of have that plain food vibe to it. Sometimes you're in business and you'll be served something that belongs in a restaurant. I wouldn't quite say this is on that level. It's definitely still a tasty dish, but probably lacking the wow factor you might expect some other business class airlines. Last and hopefully not least, we've got this chocolate mousse dome. And that is an indulgent mess for dessert. When I say mess, in a positive way, because there's a lot going on here. We have a sort of like outer donut. It's got some fruit in the middle, along with some white chocolate, some nuts around the outside. There's a lot going on, but it works.
On the tray, there is a starter of a lettuce salad with edamame, carrot and lettuce. There's a choice of chicken or pasta, and I went with the chicken. Let's try this salad. Fresh and crunchy. It's a little bit plain though, I will say that. The chicken, delicious, like a gochujang kind of Korean flavor that's actually excellent. Wow, wait a minute. I have found some Italian dressing, which I think once this goes on the salad, it's going to be a game changer. A great improvement. That's made that salad banging. This chicken there is a winner. I just wish it was bigger. This whole thing needs to be bigger. It's an 11-hour flight.
You know something that makes me sad? No, it's not being in economy. These dimmable windows, because it's still the daytime and they've kind of locked them on like dark. I just want to see the sun.
Look, it's making me sneeze. And making me sneeze just made my seat lose its recline. See, it's a disaster. I'd like to start a petition to bring back the blinds, save our blinds.
So something I didn't have a chance to show you prior to takeoff is the fact that this cabin comes complete with a fully closing sliding door. So if you want total privacy, you want to be cocooned away from the rest of the cabin, you just slide your door like this and you'll be nice and isolated. There's also an armrest down to your right here which slide up and down depending on your preference, but if you want that sort of nice shelled in feeling, and all of these things contribute to a really, really private business class experience. Well, it's starting to get a little bit darker here in the cabin, so let's see how my seat fares as a fully flat bed. The bed itself is actually even comfier than I was expecting. It's got quite a lot of like give underneath. It feels, not extremely soft, but certainly not too firm. It's come with a nice pillow, which is probably, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 on the Pluffy scale. There is a small mattress topper underneath, adding a little bit more support, and then there is this lovely soft blanket as well, which feels kind of like lightweight but still a good touch of luxury. My footroom at the bottom is maybe a little bit narrow, but definitely not to the extent where it's going to be uncomfortable to sleep. And overall, this just feels like a really nice, secluded, isolated pod in the sky to get some rest. I'm pretty impressed with this. Okay, well, it's fairly quiet in the cabin. People are resting. Let's see how Hawaiian do on today's Cool Bell Challenge. Hi, how you doing?
Love you.
Can I get a glass of red wine, please? That's perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much. Well, I thought that was going to be fast, and it was fast. Well done, Hawaiian.
The blue light is a flashing. When the blue light flash, better get. When the blue light flash, better be in a rush. When I press the call bell, run here like hell. Oh, somebody just marched past. I think they're collecting rubbish rather than collecting my desires, my orders. Do quite want a cup of tea though. Oh, hi. Okay, listen, the crew came over for a lovely chat. They then realized that the call bell was on. Actually, they just came over because they wanted to see how long we were going to Seoul for. They're chatting to passengers. So I think at the moment they approached, we'll end the call bell there. They did ask me if I wanted anything. A cup of tea is coming. So we'll let them have this one.
Well, that is Alaska on Hawaiian Airlines from Seattle to Seoul in business class, done. And if I think about the 4 places I've just named, they've actually come together to create a really good business class experience. From the airport at Seattle, that fantastic Alaska lounge, very tranquil, calming vibes, and then on board a really, really excellent Hawaiian Airlines product. Lovely, fully closing door. It felt very private, secluded, really comfortable place to spend 11.5 hours. On the whole, the service on board was excellent, very attentive, personable. I will say that first main meal could have been a little bit better, but on the whole, everything on board was pretty delicious. And then all of that for just 75,000 Alaska miles and $6. A brilliant business class deal, and on the whole, a very, very solid flight experience from start to finish.
Well, that completes that very long, almost 12-hour flight in economy class. The cabin, gorgeous, crisp, brand new. It was really nice. And my seat for an economy seat was great. Having that extra leg room in those comfort seats is a real win, and for $170, I would definitely do that again. The food, it was good, but it just wasn't enough. That first meal was super tasty, but I just wanted something extra. It's going to be really interesting to see how operations continue with Alaska taking over these long-haul Dreamliners. Subscribe to us and you can be sure we'll be some of the first people that get on board once these planes start flying to London. So that was my experience in economy class on the Hawaiian 787-9 from Seattle to Seoul. Down.